that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
A large, hairy creature with arms that hang down beside its, bore down on its sides.
And I told him my name, and when I told him the name, he said he was called Code.
It was not anything from this earth that I'm quite sure of.
You're listening to the Strangeology Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Foran, and this is your place to explore the weird, strange, and unexplained. From cryptids and creatures, the paranormal, aliens and UFOs, forbidden knowledge, ancient mysteries, conspiracies, and more. All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Before we get started, make sure to follow Strangeology on all of the socials for more content. Links to my Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok communities will be linked in the show notes as always. Make sure to sign up for our newsletter as well over on Strangeology.com for more updates, monthly blog posts, discounts to the shop, and more. If you're watching this episode on my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe there if you haven't yet, and like and share this video. It helps out a ton when you do. And stick around to the end of the show for more updates. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So the guest for today's edition of the show is author and UFO researcher Ryan Wood. Ryan became interested in the subject of UFOs when his father, Dr. Robert Wood, was managing an anti-gravity research project for McDonnell Douglas in the late 1960s and trying to figure out the physics of how UFOs operate. Ryan is the leading expert on the infamous Majestic 12 documents and manages the website majesticdocuments.com, which is a database containing them. Beyond that, Ryan was an executive producer for the sci-fi channel documentary The Secret, which was all about UFO crashes and the secret military retrieval programs that we've heard so much about recently, and I'm sure we'll get into today. Ryan's latest effort is working to create a massive database of relevant and high-quality UFO intelligence over on UFODex. So thank you for coming on to the show today, Ryan. Glad to have you on. We've got a lot of ground to cover, but let's start with the beginning. What got you into the world of UFO research and then embarking on this extensive project that culminated in your book, Magic Eyes Only?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll credit my father or blame my father. I was 16 years old when Stanton Freeman, a famous ufologist who was working for my father at Douglas Aircraft Company, came home to dinner, and the topic conversation was about gravity control and UFOs, and they were even doing interviewees of abductions and regression hypnosis. Not that they had any alien parts from the government to do physics analysis of, but this was more along the lines of, well, what's the theory? Is it beyond general relativity? I mean, how does magnetic fields play? I mean, what is the theoretical approach, and then what is the experimental approach of how do you do try to change the speed of light with high magnetic fields, and instrument vans and run around and try to gather data of UFO events and so forth. So that was my initial exposure, and like any teenager, I sort of that's what my dad does. Sort of ignore that for a while. And I went off to a typical corporate career and got degrees from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo in math and computer science, and worked at Intel and digital equipment and Silicon Valley startups and so forth. And it really wasn't until, I paid attention a little bit and went to a few MUFON conferences. It wasn't until the early 90s when the Special Operations Manual, Extraterrestrial Entities, Technology, Recovery, and Disposal, a long mouthful, leaked. And I started working with my father on replicating it. And then a lot of the other Majestic documents happened through the 90s from multiple sources. And then, some frustration in going to MUFON, Mutual UFO Network conferences and having them not talk about the things I wanted to talk about, which was, crash retrievals, alien bodies, parts, hard evidence. It was too wishy-washy. So I decided to start my own conference, the UFO Crash Retrieval Conference in Las Vegas, which ran for 7 years from 2003 to 2009. And and during that time, one of the patrons asked me, aren't you going to run out of UFO crashes next year? And so in 2005, I wrote the first edition of Magic, MAJIC, Magic Eyes Only, Earth's Encounters with Extraterrestrial Technology, which is all about UFO crash retrieval, some 74 cases, and then updated it in 2024, early January 24, to 104 cases from around the world. So that's sort of the trajectory of how I started and where I sort of ended up today. There's a lot more to say in between, but that's the start.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's there's so much out there with ufology. It's an ever deepening rabbit hole. Now, now, so you're kind of like the Majestic 12 documents guy. For my listeners out there who may not be familiar with what the MJ12 documents are, can you give like a brief overview of just what exactly they are, what they say, and all of that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jeff, and important to provide. So the MJ12 documents span from the first leak in 1984 to basically 2000. So some, 16 years or more, and from 7 different sources of material, some of it in undeveloped film, some of it in original documents with, typewriter or onion skin, original paper, ink stuff, some photocopies, and mailed to these different sources. So there's a broad swath of some 3,500 pages in varying quality and sophistication. Some of it top secret code words, some of it top secret, some of it secret, some of it confidential, some of it like from a filing drawer. And newspaper articles or pictures and things like that. They're interesting, but they aren't stamped or classified. And the majesticdocuments.com website has the vast majority of all the data, not all of it, but vast majority of it there, and people can read what it says. But what it says is it shows deep complicity in the Roswell crash retrieval. It shows a clear recovery program in the Special Operations Manual case of how do you pick up the bodies, where to pack them, where to send them, how to create cover stories. It's clear that there's a giant effort to manage and control events like that. And so that's and implied complicities with the CIA, the NRO, the National Security Agency, the White House, different White Houses at different times, and a whole bunch of people, maybe 100 different names of people that are linked to Majestic 12.
Interesting. Now, was it originally like a group of 12 people operating secretly within the government or beyond the government? Because this stuff was so secret for so long, no one even in the government seemed to really know about it.
Right. So the evolution, there were some crashes. David Grush in Congressional testimony said the 33 crash happened in Italy, the Magenta, and then in Cape Girardeau in 1941, we had another crash. And there may have been 1 or 2 more crashes in 46 as well. And all of this came under the purview of Dr. Vannevar Bush at the Office of Scientific Research and Development, OSRD, all, sort of during the time of the war and Roosevelt. And Bush wanted money to do development, and Roosevelt said, no, shut up, go win the war, and when we're done, we'll give you money. And let you go. But the real kicker was the Roswell crash, or crashes. There's definitely 2 locations, potentially 3. And General Nathan Twining is assigned to manage this all from July of 47 early to September of 47, where the white hot report was presented to Harry Truman and recommended the approval and the establishment of the top secret research and development intelligence gathering organization known as Majestic 12, September 24th, 1947. So that's sort of when the officialdom happened. And of course, the CIA was spun off, and the National Security Agency was spun off, and the Army and the Air Force were split. And so this time, maybe precipitated by the Roswell event, forced this separation and thinking about how to reorganize the intelligence community of the government. So that's sort of the start. I mean, the first leaked document in 1984 to Jamie Chandray that was later published in 87. He sat on it for several years, outlined 12 individuals and named them all. And they were Army, Air Force, and intelligence community, sort of 2-2-2-2 approach. So that's how the 12 started. I mean, is it still called Majestic 12 today? No, I think it's called Zodiac or something else. Is there 12 members? Probably at the highest level. But there's all these compartments that get spun out for various efforts, be it biology, be it hardware, be it materials or communications. I mean, you can parse it a lot of different ways, but there's lots of compartments.
Yeah, you certainly hear about the compartmentalization a lot, where you only know one thing, but it's obviously part of the larger picture, and it's, I don't know, maybe it's done like that just to help keep the secret stronger. Now, of course, it's like there's always skeptics and debunkers out there in ufology, and the Majestic 12 documents seem pretty legit to me. But what would you say to people out there who think this is just something made up? How do we vet their authenticity?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the authenticity, there's lots of ways of addressing the authenticity, and sort of every document stands on its own for how authentic it is or what the probabilities are. So the typical FBI thing is, well, where'd you get it? Who gave it to you? Can you go find the source? And is the source legitimate? So here's the case. How about being mailed from the Freedom of Information Act office at Fort Meade, Maryland, for the Encyclopedia of Flying Saucers? A 300-page document, which is in this book. It's on Amazon, the Encyclopedia of Flying Saucers. Original onion skin. It's stamped right on the top. The highest classification of this document is top secret magic, no foreign dissemination, for U.S. eyes only, exempt from declassification, special handling required, not releasable to foreign nationals. And the whole chapter on the Air Force is stamped top secret magic. It doesn't get much cleaner than that.
Right.
And now there's all sorts of forensic that you can do next. There's a pen writing marks from Vannevar Bush, and there's pencil marks. There's 3 or 4 different people that have written in this documents, presumably in the mid 60s or so. The book is actually a tremendous sort of history of crashes pre-1960 and backwards in time. Um, and so you talk to Vernon Bowen's son, and he has the original typewriter, and so you can do a lot of forensics around that. So that's one extreme. The other extreme would be, it's just a photocopy, and there's not much you can check, like the Aquarius documents, a briefing for Carter. I mean, it's interesting, it's fun read and so forth, but how can I check anything? There's nothing much to validate. Or the one that's most valid in my mind is the Special Operations Manual, and I'm 99.6 or 7% confident that that's totally real and authentic for a whole bunch of reasons, from the proof that it's a hot lead printing press, to the entomology, the word usage, to the content and what it says, and the formatting and style. So that's sort of a brush, but everyone has sort of an authenticity rating on the Majestic Documents website. There's a whole process that we go through to authenticate it. And in one case, the Einstein-Oppenheimer June of 1947 piece, where Einstein answers the question, well, what happens if the ETs want to settle here? I mean, is that legal? Is that appropriate? And so the question is, did Einstein really write it? And we ended up using forensic linguistics to fingerprint his language style, and conclude that, yeah, sure enough, it was him that wrote this.
Wow. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that Einstein may have been read into the UFO phenomena. That's fascinating.
Yeah, well, allegedly, according to one of the documents, he was at the Roswell crash, or saw parts of it, along with Oppenheimer and Steinman and Groves and Twining, and many other people. The movie Oppenheimer was fun to watch, but I really would have loved to add a couple of twists in there about what's the real classified stuff that he was dealing with.
Yeah, for sure. So you've gone through like thousands of pages, and you obviously have a process of going through to authenticate and verify and vet all of these documents, which is, very important, I think, because there's a lot of stuff out there that we have to sift through, and not all of it is something that can be a reliable source. But your book highlights 104 crashes now, you said.
Yep.
What's the criteria that you used to determine the credibility of all of those reports?
Well, that's a great question, Jeff. I mean, yeah, and we use the same sort of similar process, in that you have a series of attributes and weighting factors, and hard physical evidence. Do you have official documents from the government, sort of moon dust documents that are FOIA released or in the National Archives that support some of the cases? Do you have witness testimony? And how credible is the witness testimony? So there's a lot of aspects that go into this process, and I describe it all in the book Magic Eyes Only, which is this book that's on Amazon, and so you end up using this criteria to determine the authenticity of each one, and it goes from low to medium high to high. And there's like 6 or 7 that are high, Roswell, Kecksburg, Shag Harbor, Braxton County, a few ones that people are more familiar with. And then there are a bunch that are sort of in the neutral position. The needle is in the middle, and you want to try to push the needle higher with more research to get it more authentic, or push it lower with more research to say, this is like bogus. It's not real. And one of the ones that we just pushed lower was the Trinity event that Rami Baca and Jose Padilla were two young boys that saw a crash and a recovery in New Mexico. Despite Paula Harris's book with Jacques Vallée on Trinity and so forth, the primary witnesses, were trying to sell the movie rights for $100,000, and they committed to give Tim Good, a famous British ufologist, copies of the or use of this aluminum metal material that they allegedly found, that Tim Good paid for the analysis of, and they reneged on that. And to me, I had during one of the crash retrieval conferences, and I forgot in 2005 or 6, I had signed Rami Baca up to come and speak to the conference and share his story. And he stiffed me on that, and didn't show up. He eat the $500 airplane ticket and hotel and ... And I ended up, reviewing his slides and giving a short talk about that. But, that's just examples of a case where we went to a lower credibility in this recent edition based on new evidence and research. There was, so I'm open to any criticism. The Majestic documents, this one is fake because I love it. I want to see it. Invariably, when people say that, when you dig deeper, it turns into a zinger for authenticity. And that's why I welcome these sort of, specific, detailed thoughts. The general attitude, I had top secret code word clearances in the 80s, and they wouldn't have done it like that. I'd say, okay, so what? This is all 1947, the 50s. You weren't there then, and everything's different now.
Yes. Yeah, it's there's so many, it seems like, revelations, lots of talk. And you mentioned David Grush earlier. What's your perspective on all of these congressional hearings that have happened in the last 2 years? You've been talking about these crash retrieval programs for quite a while, and now there's a little bit of validation, at least on an official level here.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we were 20 years ahead of Grush. 2003 was the first crash retrieval conference, and Grush was 2023. So we were leading the charge, and George Knapp in Las Vegas was, coming to the conferences, and he gave talks about his crash event in 2008. And so I'm thankful now that the kids no longer believe Dad is crazy. Not that they really did, but it's validating and supportive. I knew it all along, but I think it's great that Grush was there and said, yeah, I'll tell you all about it in a classified skiff if you've got the right tickets and need to know. And most of the Congress people don't have the right tickets or classifications or the need to know.
Right.
And so they are going to get shut out. Well, tell me about top secret Omega operations. Well, I can't tell you that. And so anyway, I think it's great. I think Congress waking up, and Tim Burchett and Marianne Mace and all the people and Mark Warner in the Senate and so forth, their interest is, welcome. I don't think they'll get very far in extracting data from the intelligence community. You're going to get dribs and drabs. I mean, the bad guys are balancing transparency versus secrecy. And, you know, in theory, they want to be transparent, but they don't want to reveal the secret. And the ultimate secret is that we've figured out gravity control, and we have assets and capabilities that could go to space. Maybe they can go deep underwater, but that we have flying triangles or other assets that are capable of gravity manipulation. And that is the solution, or could be the solution, to our entire planet's problems, environmentally, energy-wise. But at the same time, it's a giant hornet's nest, because you're going to rewire the entire economic structure of the world. You know, Saudi Arabia's oil reserves are going to go down by 80%, or the whole world oil economy will get shifted. It'll take time. You know, it might take 10 years or something like that. But there'll be big losers and big winners. And, you know, so anyway, I just thought I'd give you that perspective.
Yeah, no, I mean, it would be a world changing event if disclosure happened tomorrow, and we have public knowledge and access to all of these super advanced technologies that, you know, apparently we've been working on secretly for a very long time. So yeah, it's always kind of the question of why, you know, why keep it secret? And there certainly seems to be some pretty big reasons as to why.
I agree. I mean, I'm sure that every year they make a list of, you know, why keep it secret? Why should we tell the truth? And then it's sort of a limited hangout. I mean, there's a way to do this. I mean, I'm reminded of, you know, President Obama's interview with Jimmy Kimmel, and where Kimmel asks him, you know, why don't you tell us all about UFOs? And I'm paraphrasing, and Obama says, well, the aliens are in charge, and they don't want us to do that. And I think that's true. And it may not be in such an overt way, but, you know, the ability of ETs to telepathically implant, read, influence people's minds, or the whole abduction phenomenon, or to perceive the future and then sort of tune it to how they want to have it turn out. You know, I think the criteria for disclosure, a full disclosure in my mind, is along the lines of, you know, when you clean up your environment, you get rid of your nukes, and you feed everybody and educate everybody, or substantial progress and all that, and you get rid of all your wars, yeah, you can join the cosmic kindergarten. And my prediction, personally, is 2050, 2060. Maybe we'll get that done about the time I die. And hopefully I'll see that. But it's that's sort of the criteria. Now, there's maybe a little bit of disclosure here and there, dribs and drabs, you know, but the white world, or the science world, has the opportunity to rediscover how to manipulate gravity, and improve the lot of humanity from an energy point of view.
Yeah. And yeah, this heard a lot of talk about kind of like the 0 point energy. I mean, it would totally, like you mentioned, it would disrupt everything with the petrodollar, the oil big oil all around the world.
Yep.
And, largely that would probably be a huge benefit for all of humanity, I would say. But yeah. Now I wanted to kind of shift gears a little bit from that and talk about a couple of the crash incidents that you've looked into. Out of the 104, which ones do you find kind of like the most compelling and interesting?
Yeah. Well, let me maybe provide a little more context for the book. I mean, I'm the primary investigator on a few cases. The Cape Girardeau 1941 case is one example, but I'm not the expert on Roswell. I talked to Stan Friedman or Kevin Randall or Don Schmidt or many of the people that have done a lot of research. And so I took the research of all these individual investigators and created sort of simple one-page summary in some cases with references to 10 pages or more about a more robust, sophisticated case and its related investigations and authenticity and witnesses and so forth, and tried to provide a review sort of these 104 crash events from around the world. Stan Gordon is the expert in Kecksburg's crash, or Leslie Kean, and I did most of my work on Cape Girardeau and weaving the Majestic documents throughout the book, primarily all as a driver of patrons asking me early on in 2005, aren't you going to run out of crashes? And so that was my process. As to the biggest and best ones, it's Roswell's the most obvious, and it only takes one that you have to feel confident that they really have crashed hardware and recovered alien bodies to start reverse engineering it and developing that technology for military use. So the challenges with crash retrievals are, first, you need to determine precisely where and precisely when did the event occur. And if you can do those two things, or even one, you can make a lot of progress on researching and investigating a particular crash. And often you don't have those. You have parts. Like the Cape Girardeau case, we don't know if it's the spring or the summer, or spring or the fall of 1941. It was described as summer weather. Somebody was wearing a sweater, a sweater weather. So that could be a spring or fall sort of time frame. But we knew that it was in Cape Girardeau, and it was about a 15-minute drive by police car from Main Street in downtown Cape Girardeau, where Reverend Huffman lived. And he provided blessings for these 3 dead alien bodies before the military took it all away to the Sykeston Air Base, and no doubt it was swept to parts unknown. So there's loads of opportunity for people that really want to investigate a crash retrieval, but it takes real money. You need to start with a $50,000 budget to push the needle anywhere on these crashes. Because you got to go there. You got to go there multiple times. You got to rent hotels and cars. You got to try to interview witnesses. Go to the various national archives. You got to go to the local, county and find the deeds and so forth, and the ownership, trace the ownerships. Interview children, interview grandchildren of the people involved. Videotape it all. It requires a serious effort to work these historical cases.
Yeah.
And there's not much in the modern era to go after. So hopefully that provided some context for the crashes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it is, it's a very involved process, I guess, to really look into these cases and verify everything. You know, I know there's production companies out there, independent ones these days that investigate, things like cryptids or UFOs and stuff like that. People I'm connected with in Small Town Monsters, they do a series called On the Trail of UFOs, and they do like boots on the ground. They go out and interview people, and every year they have a Kickstarter, and they have to raise funds to go out and do this stuff and get the right info.
And I would give you my perspective after some 35 years in and around ufology and in high intensity and low intensity ways, is there's three fundamental problems. Credibility, where there's not enough credibility, and that we can talk about more about that. There's not enough leadership. Who's the CEO of all these organizations? It's a loose-knit group of volunteers everywhere trying to move the ball down the court and score a goal. And then finally, the elephant in the room is money. I mean, there's basically, I wrote a paper in 2000, it was like 1995. And there was maybe $250,000 spent on everything in ufology, all the books, all the conferences. Maybe it's a few $1,000,000 today, but it could easily absorb $50 million to do more crash retrievals, to do more investigations, to go find all the people and the grandchildren of all these military officers that were involved and push. So just protecting one whistleblower is at least $1 million. It's like, well, I'm not going to come forward because I'm going to lose my pension. Well, how about if we give you a guaranteed pension for the rest of your life? And so you got to buy insurance for that. You got to provide legal support. So there's a lot. And then there's supporting all the podcasters and all the people that want to do research in the field to try to go after specific insights. So those are the big three: money, leadership, and credibility. And my latest work on credibility is a new book called UFOs, Who Knows? And this is a book of famous quotations, 185 of them, from famous people, astronauts, celebrities, military, presidents, religious leaders, government. And they range from stunningly, oh my God, to, I was sitting in a hot tub with Demi Lovato and we did this channeling exercise and we got a UFO to show up over us. So there's lots of cross section of society that you people can relate to, and so this is the book that I can hand to anybody and say, if you read this or scan through what you want and come away with the notion that UFOs aren't real or there's not something there, you may not have all your marbles.
Yeah. With that many people offering their own accounts and everything, there's something there.
And credible people. That's the whole thing, is that they're famous. And they have very strong, bios.
Yeah. If you have a lot to lose and you're saying stuff like that, I think that kind of lends a little bit more credibility than several cases, but yeah, for sure. Have you, in your research, come across any, I believe Aurora, Texas was kind of cited as like the first modern case where obviously there was a crash that was said to have happened in Aurora, Texas. It was 1897.
97.
Yeah. And there was an entity that died and was buried in the town. And I've seen all these, shows on sci-fi and Discovery over the years. They every once in a while do an episode on that. But have you come across any documentation of stuff that's happened earlier than that?
Well, the book that Magic Eyes Only starts with a Mount Ararat in 3000 BC, sort of, and the CIA refuses to release the 1950 U-2 overflights, stereo negatives of that era. There seems to be a lot of sensitivity around that mountaintop and what was there. Allegedly, I mean, the speculation is that there was a UFO crash, or that that was the ark was maybe a UFO from space, or a UFO to take you to space. I'm not sure. So that's where the new edition of the book starts. The 1897 Aurora, Texas case is great. I mean, the late Jim Mars, who wrote the foreword to my book, Magic Eyes, was one of the primary investigators, and he was a Dallas Morning News. I think it was Fort Worth newspaper that he was an investigative reporter for, and did a lot of research. He wrote the book Crossfire, JFK, and did works, lots of conspiracy work. A very good reporter on not only the JFK assassination, but a book called Rule by Secrecy, which is very interesting. And then he did a lot of work on 9/11 as well. So he hit all the big conspiracies, but he was pretty good. I distinctly remember sitting in Laughlin, Nevada, with him and Rich Dolan and a few other people, and he was encyclopedic in his knowledge, and could still smoke a cigar and drink his whiskey and keep it coherent. So it was fun times.
There you go. That's great. So I was skimming through some of the MJ12 documents, and I saw there was one of the documents mentioned this formation of Interplanetary Phenomenon Unit. Was this kind of like a precursor of what we have with like ATIP and Arrow of the modern era?
Yeah, I mean, before Majestic 12 got established, before the CIA, there was something called the OSS, Office of Strategic Services, and worked throughout the war. And but the Interplanetary Phenomenon Unit, the IPU, it's important to remember that it's been acknowledged through multiple Freedom of Information Act requests as being a real organization, part of the Assistant Chief of Staff for Intelligence, Stephen J. Chamberlain, technical and scientific branch of the counterintelligence department. And the institutional memory is remembered this, but all the documents are sort of missing or not available, but that's where one of the major sources of leaked documents from a pseudonym by the name of Thomas Cantwheel that happened in the mid-90s. I think he was part of the Interplanetary Phenomenon Unit in the Counterintelligence Corps, and leaked many of these documents. But the first sort of really stunning IPU document was, I think, 22 July 47, where the counterintelligence team was talking about Roswell, and it starts off at at 23:32 Mountain Standard Time. 2 objects dropped off radar, and subsequent recoveries in the Brazel Ranch and near the Trinity Atomic Burst in White Sands Proving Grounds. Designated ULAT, Unidentified Lenticular Aerodyne Technology, a ULAT-1. I mean, people call them flying saucers, but they also officially call them ULATs. And so it goes on to talk about, bodies and autopsies and what was recovered. And let's see if I can quickly throw out a few other sort of key phrases. Select scientists from the General Advisory Committee on Atomic Energy Commission, most notably J. Robert Oppenheimer, was identified at LZ2, Landing Zone 2, as well as other members. Among paperclip specialists were identified Dr. Werner von Braun, the head of the rocket effort, and Ernst Steinhoff and Herbert Strunghold of the Aeromedical Laboratory. He's the biology guy. So they interviewed radar operators, and says General Twining arrived on July 7th. And they talk about secrecy, and all civilian and military person involved with the recovery operations had a need to know. You got to access proper security clearances. MPs were there. Well, this is another one. It's become known that the CIC, that some of the recovery operation was shared with Representative John F. Kennedy, Massachusetts Democrat elected the 46th son of Joseph P. Kennedy. And Kennedy had limited duty as a naval officer assigned to naval intelligence during the war. It's believed that information was obtained from a source in Congress who was close to the Secretary of the Air Force. So, here's Kennedy, pre-president, getting exposed to the nature of crash retrievals. And then there's later documents that talk about NASA and national security action memorandums and unknowns in the Russian. And, could this be another reason why Kennedy was assassinated? Yeah. Some people argue that it is the reason, but I put it in the bucket of, well, there's lots of reasons that they wanted to do it, but this may have just been the straw that broke the camel's back or what have you. So anyway, the Majestic documents talk about that too.
Yeah. That's I've heard some people talking about that before, that Kennedy wanted to release the information about the UFOs, and that's why they offed them. But I wonder if anyone's gotten through all the released JFK documents that came out recently yet to see if there's anything there. But I haven't been following that story in a couple of weeks.
Nor have I. And I suspect that there's no smoking gun. There's no doubt a bunch of researchers were knee deep in the middle of it. The story is at least 2 months old. And I'm sure that 1 or 2 researchers have been in there trying to figure out what is new, what did they learn from this process. And I don't think there's anything there. I think it's been mostly, the leaked document that we have is a top secret White House document saying, I want you, James Webb, the head of NASA, to share the knowns and the unknowns with the Russians to make sure that we don't launch nukes at each other, and do a joint program to the moon. So he was trying to unite the world to go to the moon rather than, divide it. Um, and I think at the time, the Russians had, pretty good rocket technology. But, Werner von Braun was from Paperclip, and he'd done all the V2 rockets from Nazi Germany and so forth. So he was the main intellectual wizard.
Yeah. So much going on with all these puzzle pieces here. Now, I'm wondering, there's so many crashes that have happened, and are a number of them just, do you think, due to pilot error on their part, or failure of technology, or are we like shooting these things down?
Well, yeah, you bring up a great question, Jeff, and that is, why do they crash? I mean, and there's lots of potential reasons. I mean, there's certainly the LA air raid time in 42 where we had a crash in the ocean in the mountains, San Bernardino Mountains, where they're shooting anti-aircraft artillery at it and have a spotlight illuminating the craft. Now, intellectually, you go, I don't know that it's going to make any difference. But there's also, more aggressive, high-powered SAM missiles. There's radar interference, which General Corso or Colonel Corso highlighted in his book, The Day After Roswell, which I think I give a lot of credibility to. And maybe that was the contributing factor in the Roswell crash. You also have high-powered negative lightning bolts, which are 10x the typical positive lightning bolt that are common in New Mexico and southern Colorado and parts of Oklahoma. There's this zone in this area where there's a far greater density of lightning strikes on planet Earth. There's several zones like that all across the planet. So you can have natural phenomena. You can also sort of extracting yourself a little bit back and said, well, planet Earth, you exploded an atomic bomb in July of 45. And now we've seen this movie 1,000 times before across the universe. And what you really need is some advanced hardware to study. So we're going to drop some technology on your doorstep and force you to think about physics and communications and integrated circuits and advanced technology, because that will accelerate your science and technology evolution. And that's the fastest way to clean up your society and planet. So it's a deliberate seeding of kindergarten planets by the ETs, sort of the anthropological approach. And, the ETs are just disposable biological drones. I mean, we don't pick up the drones that crash in Ukraine that get shot down and give them a proper burial or anything. It's like they're just junk.
Yeah.
And so the advanced civilizations may conclude that the biological entities are basically droids. They're biological droids. Now, they happen to be, 1,000 times smarter than human beings, but nevertheless, they're droids. So those are some of the thoughts as to why, besides David Grush's comment in congressional testimony that a certain number of missions end in mission failure. So anyway, that was a long-winded answer to your question.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of options for that for sure. I see people talking about like, oh, well, I mean, if this extraterrestrial civilization is so advanced and they're able to traverse interstellar distances, why would they crash? And obviously, I mean, look at our technology today, which would be magic to a caveman with our cell phones and all that. But even then, those things break down from time to time. So yeah, that's interesting. Now, on the technology front, I mean, how much stuff do we have today? And what kind of stuff do you think? I mean, aside from the military reverse engineering anti-gravity craft, what kind of other technology are we talking about that may have come into play with humanity since Roswell?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I mean, I'll start with Colonel Corso and his claims of working in the foreign technology division of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So he claims in his book that fiber optics, night vision goggles, integrated circuits a little bit are seeded by ET technology. And I would say, well, okay. I'm not dismissing the immense hard work of the scientists at Intel, which created the microprocessor, and the evolution of Moore's law and the process technology of improving silicon wafers and creating, from thousands to millions to billions of transistors on an integrated circuit. But in 1947, they may have seen an integrated circuit, and they could take out the microscope and look at it and say, oh my goodness, look at all those little tiny things. What's going on? And they sort of get the clue that, oh yeah, you can build an integrated circuit. I don't think the transistor, for example, is linked to anything. Shockley and I think I've forgotten the other two gentlemen that were part of the transistor, because that they sort of did that in 1947. But I don't know the full history. I mean, it'd be fun to get the FBI files of those three gentlemen, and sort of dig deeper into their history or lack thereof. So, and I suspect that there's many other small subtleties, maybe with metamaterials, maybe with memory materials, with this, that, the other thing, where people have gotten patents, Lockheed or Northrop or Aerospace Corporation or Bechtel or EG&G or the Carlyle Group or many of these other sort of aerospace industrial complex nonprofits that have deep government ties, may have gotten little shards of opportunity. But there's nothing really juicy or really useful for humanity. And that in my mind is the crime, is that, they think that 1,000 bright scientists cloistered up underground for years on end can compare in any way, shape, or form to the tens or hundreds of millions of scientists and engineers in the white world of science and technology.
Yeah. It's interesting times, man. It's yeah. Now we're coming up to the top of the hour here, but I wanted to ask you about UFODex. This is like a new project you're working on, and it seems like it's going to be a pretty cool thing. Can you enlighten my audience on what that's all about and what the goals are with that?
Yeah, I mean, well, it originally started back in, I think, 2008 when Google had a Google Mini, which is a little tiny piece of hardware that, well, it wasn't little, it was like a rack mounted thing. But you could feed it all this data and you could do searches and correlate and stuff like that. And so I had collected a bunch of data back then, scanned and OCR'd, optical character recognized, hundreds of books. But I was using AI for my day job at Electric Fusion Systems, and decided, wow, this is really impressive. Why don't I feed it a bunch of UFO data and see what happened? And so in that process, I ended up creating this little book called The AI Ufologist, answering the big questions of ufology, like what's their agenda, why do they abduct humans, why don't they tell the truth, why is the secrecy done? 30 questions that interested me. And so I was so impressed with the answers that I decided that I really should create, and I used UFODex, UFODex.com where it's right now 660,000 pages of data that is in what's called a RAG database, retrieval augmented database. No hallucination. This is an AI. I had this brain of knowledge, 750 books, periodicals, National Archive material, journals, conference proceedings from MUFON and Flying Saucer Review, and all this sort of a curated knowledge base that I was familiar with, which is sort of the brain. And then you use AI to sort of rummage through the brain and give you coherent answers in a well-worded 1,000-word answer. And so today you can go to ufodex.com and type in your question. Tell me about the top events in Massachusetts in the past 20 years. Cite your sources and references, provide the dates and times and locations, or anything else. So it's extremely powerful. What are the top theories of how technology and UFOs work? And provide your references. So anyway, that's sort of the tool that's available right now for free. Eventually, it's going to cost money. But we should be close to 750,000 pages by Contact in the Desert at the end of May, early June. And I'm leading a whole series about Contact in the Desert, about using UFODex to answer your questions in real time.
That's very cool. That's going to be huge for researchers everywhere, who even the casual enthusiast like myself. So that's going to be great. Yeah, very cool. Well, do you have any upcoming other projects or books, or you just mentioned Contact in the Desert? Or do you have any other events that you're doing besides that?
No, nothing scheduled. I may go to the MUFON conference in July just as a participant. But that's sort of it. I mean, I've shifted away from crash retrievals because I think I've done a great job on that for the time being. And I'm on to man-made craft. And that's the other talk I'm giving at Contact in the Desert, titled Gravity Wars, the Silver Bullets of Aerospace, and tracing the history of gravity research and man-made UFOs. And that's really the next thing that I'm focused on.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. That sounds great. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation today, Ryan. So glad you could come on to chat about Majestic 12 and all your projects and all your research that you've done, and the huge benefit that it's had for the UFO community. Before we go, can you please tell my listeners where they can find you and your works?
Well, I have a whole bunch of websites, majesticdocuments.com or ufodex.com or the AI ufologist, or magiceyesonly.com or the specialoperationsmanual.com, or ufoswhoknows.com. And then all the books are on Amazon too, so you can get them quickly globally, anywhere. And so and there's contact forms on all those places where people can, so that's how you can get a hold of me or email me and or get my materials. So I welcome questions and correspondence. So that's how to get a hold of me, and I'll hopefully see everybody at Contact in the Desert at the end of May and early June.
Yeah.
And will you be there?
Yes, I will be there. I'm doing a live podcast, and I'm also going to be giving a presentation as well. So,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Great. All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll see you again. Thanks again to Ryan Wood for coming on to the show today. The more we look into the UFO phenomenon, UAPs, whatever we want to call them these days, it seems like there has been a decades-long massive effort to keep the knowledge of what's really going on hidden from the public, with groups like the Majestic 12 and clandestine crash retrieval programs that we've heard about in recent months. Again, we're living in some pretty interesting times, and it will be very interesting, a very wild ride to see what happens in the next few years. So let's all stay tuned and keep our eyes on the skies and see what happens. Make sure to check out Ryan Wood's links, and they will be down in the show notes. But anyway, thanks for listening and watching the show today, hanging out with me. Again, my name is Jeff, and this is the Strangeology Podcast. As always, I want to give a huge thank you out there to everyone who listens to the Strangeology Podcast. Those of you who download it, share it, like it, show it to friends and family. It helps me out so much when you do that. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment on the video, as it helps out so much when you do that to push out to more people and get the word out about my show. Strangeology really wouldn't be possible without the support of viewers and listeners like you. And if you have a story, or you are an author, researcher, expert, and want to share your story, be considered for an interview, you can head on over to strangeology.com/contact, or you can email me at info@strangeology.com. And just another reminder to make sure to follow me on all of my social accounts. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, Threads, Blue Sky, and Substack. All the links will be in the show notes. And a big shout out to all of my Patreon members today. Thank you so much for your continued support. It means the world to me, and it helps keep the lights on here at Strangeology HQ. If you'd like to support the Strangeology Podcast, you can head on over to patreon.com/Strangeology, where there are a number of tiers with increasing benefits. You can join for as little as $1 per month, and check out the higher tiers if you want to get more perks, such as shoutouts, early access to episodes that are also ad-free, and access to Strangeology Beyond, the members' exclusive portion of the show, which is sometimes extended guest interviews or a whole other research topic for that day. There's also exclusive merch, a permanent discount to my merch shop for anyone who's looking for Fortean gear. There's also voting power on new topics that I cover, as well as behind the scenes content and more. So if you're looking to join a growing community of like-minded individuals who love the strange and unexplained, it's a great place to be. Again, that's patreon.com/Strangeology. And speaking of merch, don't forget to check out my merch shop over at strangeology.etsy.com. I have a whole assortment of cryptid, alien, conspiracy, and otherwise Fortean gear available on t-shirts, tank tops, long sleeves, sweatshirts, hoodies. I've also got stickers, pins, prints, mugs, tumblers. There's all sorts of stuff. There's something for everyone, and I'm always adding in new designs, so make sure to check back there often if you're looking to grab some Strangeology gear. Again, that's strangeology.etsy.com. Thank you so much for your support. All right, that's all for me for now for the regular show. Thank you so much for hanging out today, and we'll see you next time. Ryan was able to hang out for a little bit longer for Strangeology Beyond, the members' exclusive portion of the show, to chat about his upcoming projects and some additional pieces of UFO lore and crash retrievals. So you won't want to miss it. So members, stick with me. And for everyone else, until the next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and keep it strange. All right, members, welcome back to your exclusive portion of the show, Strangeology Beyond. Today's show was definitely